That was a surprise. I set the timer for 45 minutes. Why 45? Well, you suggested that it would be worth my while to spend 45 minutes listening to Borges, and that's what I plan to do. And listen, and we'll listen together. But I needed to give you a little introduction. And I figured, well, if you think it's worth my while to spend 45 minutes with Borges, and I mean, I'm not, yes, if you think that, and I think you're right, I'm sure you're right, well, I'm going to say, you spend 45 minutes listening to me, because, I mean, look, you don't have to agree with a freaking word I'm saying, but you'd be an idiot not to. I know that's not necessarily true. You know, I'm not saying you would be an idiot. No, I think, yeah. Here, what I mean to say is, based on what you are hearing right now, look at how that's so weird. My lighting here does weird things. It's weird. Look at that thing that's going on in the... Oh, well... Well, this is something I do. Well, it's multimodalizing. It's recognizing that there is a kind of an urge, a neurological urge to do something. And when you get fascinated with something, like noticing, you know, it's still very strange. Because, okay, so I'm moving my right hand here, and I'm looking at myself, which can be a problem, actually. And so, yes, it can be a problem. It can be distracting. But, for one thing, I'm not sure you want to hear. You want to watch me go blah 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 blah. I mean, ultimately, I expect to do that in front of large audiences, a lot of people. I expect that to be the case. I expect to manipulate the situation with help a little help from my friends, you know. Wink, wink, you know, nudge, nudge. Bob's your uncle. There's that one, and the other one was, don't you know? What is it? Don't you know? Don't you know? Whatever. Who is it? I don't know if it's Terry Gilliam or, you know. If you don't know that one, it's worthwhile. I mean, if you don't know it, I'll go and look it up and watch it again, and then I'll report to you on it and send you a copy if I can figure out how to do it. I think I have it on tape. Videotape, but I bet it's easier to find it online. So it's just one of them is in a waiting room. Well, I don't know. I would look up wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's what I think I'll do, because actually I really want to watch it. It's just fucking Monty Python, you know. So, let's do what I said I was going to do in the first place quite a while ago. I'm getting distracted. That's me. I do it. And the important thing is that some of the things that I say when I'm distracted is the stuff that I will never, I can't like sit myself down and say I'm going to say this. But I've been working on this for a while, and what comes out now is the product of 6 years of thinking about habit enhancement and 3 years of this technology, which is available to most people. I mean, you really only need a phone, a smartphone. That's it. And broadband access. And you can communicate with the world. And anybody. I mean, and you know what? You don't need all the bullshit. You don't need the thumbs up or thumbs down. Look, I want somebody to tell me if they like my stuff. Well, if they like it, they watch it. If they don't like it, they don't. The reason I do most of this stuff, and I would say this particular one is unusual, because it's very focused. It's focused on you, Woz. I was calling you Samwise. And just very briefly, because you've been very important to me in my life. Because throughout my life, through all the flakiness, all the too much pot smoking and all that stuff, you have never really judged me the way most people around me do. You've always been positive. You know, you've seen things. I say, blah, blah, I'm having a problem with this, and then you say something positive. Thank you. You've been very helpful to me in my life. And that's why I think about you a lot. And think, well, if I can put together, if I could make sure that your concerns are addressed, I think that you and I we can be this way. Really, what I'm talking about is revolutionary. It is. And if you don't get it, then ask me questions, you know. But what I would say is, don't try to pick apart what I'm saying. Ask me to explain better. I think that's what it is. I don't want you to say, but what about this? What about that? That's not really helpful to me. But engage. Say, okay, Marcel, you know, you're fine on this, but when you do this, you just lose me. That's absolutely fine. But more important, but I think what I'm asking of you is to take some time now, and because it's there, it's fun, it's interesting. I mean, I don't have to be all stoned or anything to say to you. You know, I don't have to be in one of my grandiose moods to say that I'm quite confident. I mean, Bonnie gave me, I shouldn't say, I wasn't supposed to say her name, but that's all right. Oh, it's fake anyway. We do that. That was a trick. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Bob. You know, that's what we do. It's, oh shit, cover it up. I mean, the fact is, this video, who cares? Nobody, doesn't matter. You know. And if ever somebody finds out her first name, I mean, it's not even her official first name. You know, it's not a business first name, legal. So it's a nickname. So, and you, I mean, your name. But okay, so Samwise, because you've provided something very important to me, which is just a desire to see me not fail. You know, that's good. I've been surrounded most of my life with people who kind of see things as, well, I want to. They don't want to see me fail, but that's the way they treat themselves. And this is the way I've treated my kids to a large extent, because that's what I was taught. I was brought up in a family in which there was an incredible amount of defensiveness and fear that, you know, and it's anti-Semitic, you know, anti-Semitism. You know, it's sort of like we're odd because we're Jews, and not that there wasn't anything. I mean, it's just at a very subtle level. I think this idea that we're, you know, because, well, and there was this kind of elitist kind of defensive reaction, but elitism doesn't help either. You know, it's all the same thing. It's all saying, I don't have faith in that I'm going to succeed, so I'll have reasons to think I'm better, or a rationale why I think I'm worse. And, well, that's just not a very useful way of making. Neither of those things are useful. And actually, I think your parents were a lot more, I don't know, something loose with you, in a positive way, I mean, you know, flexible, not so intrusive into your lives the way my parents were. And where I realize I've been in with my daughter, that's part of why she's so, well, she has such a great need to separate herself from me at the moment, and which is fine. I think ultimately, I mean, I'm not so concerned. I think I just look back and think, oh yeah, I did that, just like my dear old dad. You know, that's what we do. And, you know, now it's not too late. My daughter kind of doesn't trust me now and doesn't really want to be with me, and she thinks I'm crazy. And okay, and I can understand why. So let her be that way. I'll show her. Yeah, no, I will, and I'll show her in a good way. You know, when I get to invite her to lunch with, you know, somebody interested, because why not? What I've seen is, look, this is the bottom line, I think, for me. What I do in the park, what I say to the trees, how I move, what I do with my voice if I decide It's time to practice my singing. How I compose songs from themes, the themes of habit enhancement. How I go down the street saying, Parroters.net, Parroters.net, Parroters, and I don't give a shit if I don't sing as much as you'd like me to sing, but I'm a frickin' advertisement. I'm walking down the street and I'm singing Parroters.net, 1T.com, ERS, parrot, and then parrot, .net. So anyway, that's what I haven't gone full steam ahead, because I realize when I get people to come to the website, the website's got to be more than it is. Not much more, actually. What it has to be is flexible, so that when people come, as soon as people start engaging, then there has to be a real active thing going on with the website. And there's and the Twitter thing that tells people where I'm going to be, that points people to very specific things in the website or my YouTube channel. No, it'll all go to the website. But sometimes the tweets will refer to the high level, Parroters.net. Other times it'll refer to some lower level, a specific page. On this page will be somehow related. So in other words, if I go into a store in Times Square that's got all this do music, which I've done, and it's right on the corner, it's right across from TKTS, and it's got the big, it's all open, and I mean windows, and it's a corner, the doorway's a corner, and you go inside, and it's, I don't even know what it is. It's got counters, and people are milling around, and I've gone in there, but I could get everybody to stop. I mean, I haven't, because I haven't forced it. It's been more like, I know what to do now. Well, I've been practicing, and anyway, if I go in there, I want those people. Okay, so there's going to be I want them to see, it's Times Square. So if it's Times Square, there's also the TKTS place, that's another one, and I'm going to be working that one. Yeah, again, that's another thing where I've demonstrated to myself that I can get people's attention. But I didn't have anything definite. Now I have something very simple. Very simple. Go to Parroters.net. And so, now, what is it? What's the experience they're going to have when they go there? Well, it's a story. A story about what's going to happen. It's a story that's reporting on what is happening now. It's a story that is including the people who are engaging with the story. Yeah. I mean, it can be a little tricky to follow, because we can go more and more iterations. The point is, look, we got a revolution here. Revolutions don't happen overnight. We're talking about 10 years from now, or maybe less, 5 to 10 years. You know, I used to think in 20, 30 years, but no, there's no reason that has to happen. With enough focus, the whole system can be manipulated to appeal to all sorts of different people, and then to have a layered interface. The most superficial layer is the one that's most like everything else on the web, that is monetized. We use it to make money, to support ourselves. And there's a Paratech, which is a company that provides support services for people who either are too lazy or too, sorry, it distracts me when I see these things. It's like, what's happening with my, I don't, And, well, anyway, we, there. Oh, that's better, isn't it? Because I think it's dark. And it lightens up this way, right? Oh, this is so, whoa. What's going on? Somebody just texted me. I better, yeah. No, I'm not going to go out, because, well, I can. I got distracted. It happens. And you, personally, might say, stop with all that bullshit, Marcel. Tell me, you were talking to me, and now you lost it because you probably spoke. No, I didn't. That's not it. Oh, I do have a little bit of a headache all of a sudden. Really, it's one of those sudden, oh, it's just tension right in here. It's not a stroke, It's not. Superficial, it's here. It's a muscle. Yeah, I don't know, some sort of lack of sufficient oxygen because I was holding it tight somewhere for a little too long. I think that's what happens when you get these kind of sudden nerve pains. It's been compressed somehow for some reason for a while, and that bothers it, and it does not getting enough oxygen, and it goes, whoa, I don't like this. Okay. So anyway, there's a lot to say. I mean, I think the bottom line here, why did I get this pain? That's to remind me of GTD, the most significant early acro tool that I began using once I got into this whole parroting thing. GTD stands for getting too detailed. It's a typical phrase that's significant, that has meaning. Either in terms of a situation that is likely that might be problematic, or the way I respond might be problematic. Either I'm already doing something that's problematic, or something's about to happen in which my typical habitual response is not so great. So this acro tool can either refer to that or to an intention. The next time I feel like that, or I find myself in that situation, I am confident, because I've thought about it when I'm outside of the situation. I've calmed myself down, whatever. I'm no longer freaked out by the fact that I really screwed that up yet again, I'm calmed down, and I say, I know that I can take a little step. Just a little step. Just a little one. It's practical. I know I can do it. The first step might be just as simple as paying attention. Oh, there I go again. So the idea is to identify it as soon as possible after you do it. It might be too late. Oh, screwed it up yet again. But I've done it a million times, which means I will do it again. But perhaps I can start to not do it again 10% of the time. Maybe over time, 15, 20, 30, 40. Maybe I'll get up to 70 or 80. Sometimes 100% is conceivable, but, frequently 100%. It ain't worth it. I've been working on a particular thing that has to do with this whole parroting of the technology, the technique that's involved in continuing to record, whether it's on just my voice recorder or if it's on the phone here, and making sure that I keep going, and I forget with some frequency. So I'm up in the 80 to 90% accuracy, which is great, actually. It's great. And if I were to try to get that last 15%, I'd be wasting my time. Over time, maybe I'll get higher and higher accuracy, or maybe I never will, and I'll just have to suffer, or just suffer the consequences. They're not that important. It'd be important if I was at 5% all the time, and never got above 5%, or 20 or 40% probably. Once over 50%, though, hey, maybe I really want to get it up higher, because this is the kind of thing, let's say if it's something like driving. If you know that you've got habits of sort of taking the aggressive option rather than the cautious option, and you know that that's your tendency, and you've had some close calls in your life, and you get to the point in your life where you say, you know what, I really don't want to do that, because I know one of these days something bad is going to happen, and I will just have been too far. I either reacted too quickly, I'm too fast, I'm too far forward, and the thing I missed the last 8 times it happened, it ain't going to always be that way. So, before that happens, I want to work on, well, again, it's like I want to shoot for 100%, but the reality is it doesn't matter. It's not that likely. If you're doing it 80% of the time, then the next time you'd be in that situation, I mean, the time that you'd be in that situation that really could be deadly, well, you've got an 80% chance of not being in that situation at that moment. So, which is great. If you know, if your baseline is, oh, you know, I'm always kind of rushing, going a little too fast. Now I'm older, I have kids, and I think, gee, I really don't want to run somebody over. I don't want to get into an accident just to save a little time. I mean, you know, my father taught me to be impatient. My friends said, you know, rah, rah, go fast, go fast. Well, now I'm getting a little older, and I don't want to do that anymore. And yet, I've got habits, long-lasting habits. What can I do about it? So, you know what? I've been going on a really long time. I'm like preying on your friendship. You got to listen to me. Well, you know, I was going to say 45 minutes. And I'm thinking, I'm getting tired. No, I want to put it up. Because just getting it up on the internet is a big deal. And it's something I've been struggling with. And this is where I need, you see, okay, I'll tell you some more. I mean, just shut me off when you don't want to hear me anymore. That's the thing. And you could certainly say to me, you could say, you know, I don't want to listen to your whole long-winded thing. Or, Marcel, send me just the part. Don't send me these 25-minute long things, you know. Who do you think you are? Frickin' Borges or something, you know. So, no, really, it's okay, one way or the other. I am Borges. No, look. It's something, it's kind of like a little me. I mean, I am out here in front of all these people, and they're all staring at me. I just need to have something to tell them. And I have a lot. Parroting is deep. You listen to me, well, I realize that. You've heard me play the piano in this, right? I've just had it kind of coming and going. Well, I couldn't play the piano 2 years ago. I've never been able to play an instrument. And the stuff I'm doing, this has come out of multimodalizing, one of the fundamental concepts of parroting, and more than that. It's come out of the whole, the self-therapy aspect, which has allowed me to free myself from all my hang-ups that stop me, and just allows my natural innate talent, which wasn't there for the first half a century of my life. I mean, I thought that, I wanted that talent. I wanted to be able to sing and dance and play an instrument. Now I do all that stuff in front of people. And I don't care. With my singing, I'm not quite there. But that's okay. I don't care. So what? So I flat out, hey, Bob Dylan, he had all these incredible lyrics. But you know what? A lot of people who listen to Bob Dylan were more concerned with the fact that he was cool and that they couldn't understand his lyrics. And his singing, which was kind of funky because he sang pretty flat. I mean, he really was a lousy singer. And then he learned, it was clear with Nashville Skyline. He took lessons. And he put on that kind of lay across a big brass bed. And then he kind of backed off of it. Well, he keeps trying new parts. His voice keeps growing because he learned something that he didn't feel he really needed. He didn't let his lack of good, decent intonation, in other words, hitting the notes, right? He didn't let that stop him. He just did it. Well, should all do that.